Fantastic tones for human bones.
Welcome to Fantastic Tones for Human Bones. I am Robert Woods-Ledoux. My co-host Mark Piscucci Clifford is here.
Hello.
And our guest today is Andy Panayides.
Hello.
And today we are doing a Bandcamp recommendation episode, as we have done 2 times before. We are going to be just talking about some albums that can be found on Bandcamp that we like in advance of Bandcamp's monthly holiday, or where it's not this event that they're holding on the first Friday of each month, where they are waiving their fees for artists, which means that if you buy music on that day, the artists get most of the money, except for the credit card fees and whatever else, taxes. So if you want to support artists, you should buy music from them on this, I guess it's October. What day will it be?
Is it the 1st or is it
the first?
the 8th?
It's the first Friday.
So the 1st is a Friday. There are 5 Fridays in October.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. Yeah. So, who would like to go first?
I have one for right up front.
Okay.
This one I'm excited about. It's called Dandelion, and Lion, by Michael Wayne Turner III. And this came across my path.
One word?
No.
Dandelion.
Two words.
2 words.
Space Lion. Dandelion by Michael Wayne Turner III. And I know about this because my dear friend and a wonderful composer and musical thinker and gentle soul, Danny Clay, is a big part of this record. He arranged the string quartet. I forget. I think it's man.
This is in Oakland.
Yeah, this is local, and so Danny Clay did all of the quartet arrangements, and it's this guy Michael Wayne Turner III singing/speaking, and it's really incredible to hear Danny's work in this context. So this came across, just my plate just by seeing Danny post about it. And a lot of the music that I know about of Danny's is kind of almost, he has like aspects of game music and conduction, but he invariably will just out of nowhere dip into these really brilliant and beautiful moments. And what I love from the string quartet writing in this is it's like extremely creative, highly detailed, and you can tell that this was a labor of love, and he took a lot of time with it. And the collaboration is really cool. It's unlike anything that I've heard coming out of Danny's particular world. And I really like Michael Wayne Turner III's voice as well. Really fascinating, the way he sings and the way he enunciates and everything. So yeah, fantastic record all around. Highly recommended. Dandelion, a concert of poetry.
Yeah. Cool. I haven't heard of this at all, and I don't know any of these people, but that sounds amazing.
Friction Quartet is amazing. That's a string quartet that Danny works with quite a bit. Yeah, check them out as well. Friction Quartet, they're around here, SF in Oakland. They're killing.
Cool.
Okay.
Would you like to go, Andy?
Sure. The talk of some singing and some speaking, it made me think of something that I wanted to recommend, which is Chris Thile's album, Laysongs.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
So it came out in June, and it is, as far as I know, his only solo album, made possible by being stuck at home and being out of a job. His most recent gig was the Live from Here on NPR, which I really loved, and feel like, I mean, that was actually how I got to know him over like Nickel Creek or Punch Brothers. It was that show, and that show like has this incredible band, and they play, they bring some artists on and they play their tunes, or they just play different tunes for that they like, and it's just always a slamming band. And he is, an incredible mandolin player. So he recorded this solo album, and I heard an interview with him too, and in the lyrics, and even though I don't really listen to too many lyrics, and that's part of my, I don't know, I happen upon interesting lyrics, but it's not my first motivation. But he's touching on growing up in a fundamentalist Christian environment for a while, and there's this 3-part piece, Salt in the Wounds of the Earth, that is really incredible, and other great tunes on there. It's a pretty short album. There's moments with his voice, so that's the other thing, is his voice is not usually that prominent in his other work, but I hear some things. I wonder like what inspired him, but I hear even some Jeff Buckley and different things going on there that I found really refreshing. So, yeah.
He's always a really fascinating player because he always brings in he brings classical music to the mandolin in such an expert way that, aside from being just like a flawless bluegrass musician.
Right. Well, and I've never heard him sing, so I'm curious to. I don't really know Nickel Creek's work that much. I know Chris mostly from that duo record that he has with Mike Marshall. It's a beautiful mandolin playing, and I saw them come through Denver when I was younger. And yeah, they were doing the same thing. They'd do like a Saga for Harrison Crab Feathers, and then he'd be like, now we're going to play some Johnny Bash. And, they do some inventions and stuff and just slay it.
Johnny Bash.
Yeah. Good old joke a lot, man. But that's cool.
So he's got bar talk on here on this album.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great. And that one, God is Alive, Magic is Afoot, is fun to listen to.
Right on.
Magic is Afoot. Cool. Yeah, Chris Thile is dope.
Yes.
It's weird. Is it weird that this is like the only album of his on here? Because
well, it's still on Nonesuch. I was gonna say, is it because he's normally on Nonesuch, but this is still a Nonesuch release?
Yeah, it's on Nonesuch.
Interesting.
Weird.
More from Nonesuch. I wonder if like the Brad Meldau, Chris Thile is up. Maybe it is. Anyway,
that's the name I haven't heard for a while, but should check out.
He's still pretty good at the piano.
Oh yeah,
as it turns out.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird how these the medium popular record labels like Nonesuch will have like certain things on Bandcamp, but not their full catalog. I don't quite understand what's up with that, to be honest. But so be it.
Oh yeah, this only goes so far. That's it. But I mean, most of the like immediate heavy hitters that I think of are up. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And then some cats that I've never heard of that maybe I should check out. Okay, carry on, Bobby.
All right, let's do something obscure and strange. How about?
Okay.
Okay, so I have a record here by an artist that has a Korean name written with Korean characters. So let's see what the internet says. Google Translate says Abioji, my best guess, which I guess means father. That's the artist name. This is on BLCR Labs Records, and the album is called Reflection. This is like and this is electronic music. It's really somber and very very spacious, almost ambient, but I wouldn't call it ambient. It's got such a mood to it. It's the song titles really say a lot about the mood of the album. It's reflections, waking up the same, someone else, losing everything, sinking in, voices, tomorrow, untitled. That does really capture the vibe of what these songs are doing. And it's just really interesting. A lot of the, or at least, so the first track stands out, which is the title track, Reflection, and it stands out quite a bit because it's like it's clearly just like cut up, some bit of audio like cut up in a way where you get these kind of like segments. Maybe it's using a delay, like a kind of tap delay or something. I'm not sure. But you're getting these kind of segments of like this repeated kind of chord, and it produces a sort of beautiful progression, but the sort of distance between the repeated bits always is changing. So it's kind of interesting, and it's like the song form is a bit static in the way where it just kind of does that for, it's 10 minutes long. So it's like, it starts doing that and it just goes all the way to the end. And there's not really any discernible form to it. So it's, totally really interesting album. Very like beautiful, honestly. So,
okay. That first track that you mentioned is like 10 minutes, 23 seconds.
Yeah.
The comments are good on this, and I was able to find it pretty easy. Like there's BLCR Laboratories, and it came up Reflection, kind of a pink cover with a pixelated
angry face,
ominous figure looking in at you from the computer. But okay, onto the wish list it goes. The comments, one says, "It took me there." The other says, "This is my go-to album if I feel like I want to cry or if I'm sad. My favorite track is Tomorrow." But I love that about Bandcamp. Like, you can see who all's checked it out. You can go dig through their collections. You can read the comments. I love it when I see little DDB comments pop up here and there. They're around.
Yeah. It's Bandcamp comments are surprisingly upbeat, like all the time. I mean, I'm sure like the artist has the privilege to remove stuff that's negative, obviously, but but it's very like the Bandcamp community, at least the people that choose to comment, are very supportive of one another.
Yeah.
Or supportive of the artist that they're supporting, I suppose.
They don't go out of their way to say bad things necessarily. Instead, they...
Yeah, I've never seen that, at least.
Yeah.
I've seen insane stuff, but I've never seen, like, negative stuff.
No, I don't think I have either. I think for the most part, I mean, everyone's putting themselves out there, and I feel like everyone is out for good, with good intention. There's not too many trolls on
out for
Bandcamp, to be honest.
Yeah,
which is kind of funny. Well, no, it's awesome. It's not kind of funny. It's rad. Let me.
Yeah.
So
it's an oddity of the modern era, but yes.
Yeah. So with me having not ever added anything without, I'm not on Bandcamp myself, I'm thinking of some of the people that I get to work with, and that the people or the therapists that I supervise get to work with. And there are some of them that are interested in sharing their music online, but there's always this sort of like, how are you going to do it? It could welcome some really, negative vibes that they just don't need to even deal with. They should be able to put it out there and be generally supported. And as I think about this, I wonder whether this would be a good place to do it. How user-friendly is it to create a band, an artist page, and then add songs?
I mean, it's
easy.
Yeah, it's super easy and it's free.
Yeah, and just all you have to. The only thing is just knowing how to manage like whatever type of file you want to put up. WAV, AIFF, FLAC, MP3. That's about the most technical part. The rest of it is just like, here, provide the information, put up your album cover.
I think they only accept waves for upload, actually.
Oh, really? I thought.
Yeah.
Well, from you personally, I've downloaded.
You can download multiple files, but you can, when you're uploading something, unless it's changed. I'm not sure. I don't know. When's the last time I uploaded something.
So maybe I have. Oh, that's interesting. So if you download a wave, then that means, or if you upload a wave, that means that whoever is getting your music can choose what format they download it in?
Yeah, Bandcamp is doing the conversion because Wave is lossless, so...
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought you chose on your end.
What I don't know, there is a pro account, and there's a way that some record labels, like, for example, I think Intact Records does this, Edition Records does this, where you can upload like very, very high resolution audio. So they'll sell 96K, 32-bit, or like, who knows I think it's probably 16-bit, but they'll sell like very, very high resolution audio files separately. So they'll have like one that's normal and one that's extra high resolution, which leads me to believe there's a way to upload a higher resolution file.
If you have a pro account kind of thing.
Yeah, which I do not have, so I don't know how that works. But
interesting.
For the novice, it's very straightforward, and they should be able to figure it out.
And highly recommended. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good call though.
Also, I should say, I feel like I should say this, like people might like promoting your own music is something that nobody wants to do, really. Like, unless that's like your thing, and unless you have marketing in your blood, which most musicians don't.
Right.
So it's a challenge for everybody. And also the internet is a place where like, you're just like, if you put something out there, you do open yourself up to like whatever. But I think it's better for the individual to do that and move on with their lives and accept, try to handle whatever feedback they get.
I think Bob's talking directly to me right now. But just kidding. Go on, man. I mean, I totally agree.
I want to, and I don't want to say that Bandcamp, you should use Bandcamp because it's a place where you won't get criticized, because like that shouldn't be the reason for putting your music out there. You should put your music out there because you want to, and be unapologetic about it if it's something that's sincere,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
I guess
and Bandcamp is, like we've already talked about, it's like I've had only positive experiences, and the way the network works is you'll have unexpected people listening to your music from all over the world, and it's not even something that you had pushed for necessarily. It's just really cool. Like it's a cool little community, and it flowers and goes forth and pops up here and there, and it's only positive, and in my experience, I don't think I'm necessarily reaching quite enough people where I can have the honor of having trolls yet, but one day.
Yeah. One day.
I have a whole label that I want to recommend, and then I just saw this record that you sent me like years ago. Do you remember this one? This Club Neuro?
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about this because
this is a person I really wanted to try to get on the pod at some point.
Okay.
But yeah, this is easily one of my favorite records, honestly.
Yeah, this is so bonkers, and it's really cool because, you know, Bob sent it to me at a time when my good friend and brilliant musical thinker, you know, Danny Meyer, he's a saxophonist, and he, you know, is writing his own computer music language as well. Excuse me. He was starting to show me some of the things that he was making, and I didn't have any place to contextualize it. And then Bob sent me this record called Club Neuro, Neuro, by Zadarpadov.
Zadarpadov.
Zadarpadov. And this is supremely fascinating music. How do you describe it? Like, you know.
So it's
microtonal.
It says microtonal stochastic electronic jazz in various intonation systems.
Yes, that's right. Interlinked neural matrices were taught by a real plane of jazz. So this is super fascinating because Danny's always talking about like, all right, cool. So I taught my program what it's like when I play a B flat major scale today. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That sounds amazing. But whoever this cat is, and there's bonus, there's a DDB review on it. There's whoever this person is, like, has done crazy work. It's amazing. And this, I think the responsivity and the interactivity of whatever program they're making with the neural networking it's amazing, and it's really fascinating, and it's fun to listen to. You know, it's dope, man. I love this record very much.
Yeah. So, in case it's just to be totally clear, this is generated by AI. The notes of this record, they're microtonal, which means they're not in the Western tuning system. They're stochastic, which is like a kind of randomness. It's not random. So that's a kind of generative system. And then, so all of the Zadarpadov albums are in different they're in different sort of styles. So they each have like their own world that they live in. So this one is like the jazz album.
Oh, so do you think this person has like created this program or this system and then just plays it different music for a while and sees what happens?
Perhaps. I mean, I've listened to quite a number of his other albums, and they each have their own like vibe that they have, or like, you know, whatever they're trying to be. Like Night City is like, what does it say? Here, I'll just read what it says. Alternate reality 80s Oriental electronic rock music, new wave, synth pop, alt pop, weird.
Well, doy.
Mainly Persian.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, that's like the mainly Persian thrown in at the end there. It's like someone just...
Well, there's more. I stopped myself. Right. But so like they each have, all the albums have this like thing that they're trying to do. But I think more than anything, what's really sort of fascinating is how these, like particularly with Club Neuro, that album in particular, it's my favorite.
Yeah.
Because it's the song structures are so they're so interesting. Like the first track, like when the drums finally drop with the bass, you're like, whoa! It's like super. It's just like the song form itself is interesting, and I don't know if he crafted that or if it's part of his AI. So it's, you know, it's great, but it's great music either way, and it's very easy to listen to, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, like if you read the descriptions, like what Bob was just saying, or even what did you say? Stochastic? Is that word?
Yeah.
Microtonal stochastic electronic jazz in various just intonation systems. I mean, to me, that sounds fascinating, but it is worth noting that this just goes right on down. It's.
I have put this on in the background at a party.
Oh, yeah. I think.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah.
You were there.
I think you did that at we played.
It was one of the Onkos or one of those parties.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Right on.
Totally great album.
Cool. Yeah, that's. Yeah, I'm glad that one came back up. I need to put that back in rotation. Fantastic.
All right, Andrew.
All right. Well, I was listening so intently to that. It took me like the entire time to find it, but I did find it and add it to my wish list before. So now I'm going to reset.
All good.
Yeah, I can, or I'll just post all these in the chat as soon as I get them. So we're not all independently searching for them.
Okay.
How's that?
Oh, yeah, we should all do that. Good call.
All right. Yeah, I was looking up Dandelion at one point as well. Well, one of my other recommendations is this duo album with Sufjan Stevens and Angelo de Augustine. And I don't know much about Angelo de Augustine except for that he's been recording on Asthmatic Kitty Records, which is Sufjan Stevens' label. He has a fair amount of material, and I think has collaborated with him in the past, but they took a trip to, I believe, upstate New York, and they spent a series of days together, and they would watch a movie at night, and then they would write music together the next day that was inspired by the movie. And apparently there was some kind of Zen aspect to it, and the album artwork. So the album is a beginner's mind, and yeah, something about the album artwork made me think back to the book "Be Here Now" by Ram Dass, which I was reading when I moved to New York City, and it's just like this. I think Timothy Leary supported Zen manual that any college kid should get into, but yeah, it's they've released a few tracks so far, I think 6, and it's due to come out here. I'm not sure exactly, but September 24th. So in 2 days. And I think there is some sort of delay on some of the printings I just read about. But anyway, there's...
I've heard about this as well.
One of the tracks, Back to Oz, is supposedly inspired by the movie Return to Oz, the sequel to Wizard of Oz, which I've always found to be like one of the creepiest movies.
I know, it's so disturbing. I'm glad you think so too. It like really freaked me out.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It fits into this.
I've actually never seen that.
Oh yeah.
Dude, do it for spooky month, man. Do it. Put your 31 for 31. Start with that one.
Okay. It's on the list.
So I was, I haven't seen all the movies, all the films that inspired all the work, but there's things like Night of the Living Dead, and there's just a lot of different types of movies.
Point Break.
I was going to say Point Break is on there, and then there's like a sequel. It's like Bring It On Back or Bring It On Again. It's like the sequel to Bring It On. That movie is on there. And,
oh, yeah.
But this track, they use this guitar effect that I just haven't heard for a long time, and it brought me back to this bootleg Jaco Pastorius and Mike Stern album.
Oh wow!
Jaco Pastorius, jazz bass, played fretless and played with Weather Report, and kind of lost his mind. But Miami folks know Jaco. He taught there for like a semester maybe or something before he got kicked out. But Mike Stern,
he got kicked out.
I'm pretty sure they asked him to leave. Yeah,
You've taught everything that you can.
Yeah. I think he was like, here, learn my bass line, and then they would learn his bass line, and then he would just like solo over them for their entire lesson. Like, I think that was what it looked like when he was teaching there. But yeah, Mike Stern uses this guitar effect, and they use it in this tune, the Back to Oz tune. It's just really, I like the groove all around, but as soon as that hit me, I was just like, wow, that's a blast.
So is this one strictly duo, or does it like harken back to Sufjan doing a lot of overdubbing, that kind of thing?
It's pretty pared down. There's an Elliott Smith vibe to a couple of the tunes. There's a clearly Sufjan Stevens vibe to a lot of the tunes. Hit more of his like acoustic work, not the electronic stuff that he's also really good at. But yeah, I was thinking again about what I might recommend tonight, and it relates in that it's kind of a pandemic spawned thing. They were able to take this time to go do this, and they went to this, to upstate New York. I feel like everybody goes to upstate New York. I mentioned Jeff Buckley earlier. Yeah.
That term is like, because if a New York City person is saying it, it could mean any part of New York.
Right.
Doesn't it normally mean like Hudson Valley and slightly above though? Like Poughkeepsie maybe, or I don't know. Don't you generally just kind of go up like a couple hours to get out of the city?
It depends on the person who's saying it. Because if like a person from Ithaca is saying upstate New York, it means one thing. A person from like Jersey is saying upstate New York, it probably just means anywhere that isn't New York City.
That's true. I think of like Ithaca, or Woodstock, and
Yeah. I used to live in Syracuse, which is like really, like, geographically speaking, the dead center of New York, but people would say upstate.
Yeah.
To describe it.
When did you even do that? You've been busy
when
living
I was
in other
a wee
places.
lad.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. I wanted to say one thing about this album. So I'm actually really excited about this one too. And so I like Sufjan Stevens, but he has kind of lost me a bit, like particularly like Age of Odds and like beyond. I just haven't, like, the Sufjan Stevens spark that I really enjoyed with albums like Seven Swans and Illinois I didn't get it from a lot of those other albums. And it's maybe my fault for not digging in hard enough, but I was immediately turned on to this album from the preview tracks. I was like, oh, this sounds like magic.
Yeah, Seven Swans, it reminds me a lot of that.
Okay, good to know, because I mean, yeah, I'm a Michigan man myself,
Yeah, I have to say, Age of Odds, it is one of my favorites over time. It wasn't at first.
Okay.
But when I moved from Miami back to Indiana, I lived at this family lake house for a couple months, and I had no job. I was just getting ready to do my thesis, or getting ready to do my internship, and I was supposedly working on my thesis, but it was was really hot and there was no air conditioning. So I was just like,
Man, I always wanted to come visit you in that lake house, and I could not make it happen.
yeah. And I like just left that album in my car the whole summer, and like every place I went, I just listened to that, and drove like fast in these country roads, and really, I had to dig in a little bit.
That sounds like a very special, blissful thing where you can. I have experiences like that with tapes in cars where, you know, I'm in the desert camping and you get away from everyone and you're just driving along and there's nothing. And it's just you and like this tape that you're kind of stuck with. And it's a special way to experience music, you know, and you do dig in super deep and it becomes a part of you for sure, you know. That's cool.
Yeah, our common friend Rajan he really digs in. Like if he's listening to something, he's only listening to that. And he's like buying every Bob Dylan album that exists for like 3 months. And
it's like my friend Quinn Tice. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean I feel like I've like learned to do that, but
Rajan likes rabbit holes that go really far.
Yeah, like Prince, Bob Dylan,
reggae,
just reggae.
I've considered very recently getting into I don't even know what it is. I think it'd be Rocksteady because I loved the Specials when I was younger, and then I was listening to one of their main influences, and I was like kind of like up in a huff about it because I was like, what? They're just playing all this music and claiming it as their own, and then I realized, you know, my friend Chris Allery, whose music you should check out on Bandcamp, we might get there in a minute, kind of chilled me out. And what's his name? Prince? All I can think of is Bonnie Prince Billy right now, which is way off, but I'll find it in a second. I'll talk about it in a moment, but that music was so good. Like this guy is like his own narrator of like this beautiful, goofy music. And that is, I've never done a Rocksteady rabbit hole deep dive, and I might.
I'm not sure I know what you mean by the word Rocksteady. Like that doesn't conjure anything specific for me.
Well, I'm going to find out, and I'll let you know. As of now, I'm mainly talking out of my butt, but that's okay. I'm just like, you know, because I knew the Specials really, really well when I was coming up, and I thought that was just like straight up ska. But there's like this in between, you know, like the 60s Jamaican ska, and then what, you know, and reggae, and then what happened with more popular music. I don't know. There's this whole world that I have existed in when I was too young to like try to dig in that deep. But now I'm like listening back and there's so much like soulful music there that I kind of want to get back to it, you know? But I don't know. Where did you even, did that just happen because someone said the word Prince? And I just was just like, yeah, I know. No, we were talking about deep dives. My bad, man. I just totally derailed. As is my want. But anyway. Yeah. So
okay.
All right. Yeah, and I love Sufjan. I'm excited to listen to it. Sufjan. I've always had contention about saying it.
Is
out
it
loud.
not Sufjan?
It's probably Sufjan, but what do you think?
I think it's Sufjan, but I've heard different. But
I know.
From various. Yeah. Because I don't know. Not that this makes it so, but he has that lyric in one of the Carrie and Lowell tracks where he says someone would call him Subaru. And for some reason that says his name is Sufjan and not Sufjan or something like that. But or Sufjan.
I just looked up the name Sufjan, and it says it's Sufjan. It's Persian name. It's a Islamic traditional name.
Well, there you have it.
So
Years and years of insecurity pronouncing one of my favorite artists' name. All right.
I mean, it's okay.
Thank you.
There's gonna be mispronunciations on this podcast.
Oh my god! I think I have a couple coming up. Even I gotta call Chris Allery and ask him how to say his name. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Anyway, so who's up? Bobito?
I think it's my turn.
Yes.
So I was thinking to do. Let's go with something gnarly.
Good.
Let's go with something gnarly. Okay, so there is this one-man act called Blattaria from Oklahoma City.
Well, you don't even know how to say the name? Just kidding. All right.
I quit. He has a self-titled Blattaria album that I would highly recommend. This is so it's black metal for sure. It says the notes on here say, "Die with me, frenzied and disorienting black metal, frantically striving for nihility." And I think that captures the mood quite well. Track titles are Dimension, Amongst Filth, Amongst Decay, The Eggs Are Hatching, Dweller of the Night, Dumpster, and Sewers Beneath Us. This is, so it's really, really super aggressive black metal, and the vocals are buried in reverb and stuff, and hard to make out. The drums are very interesting because it's like you can tell that the person this is clearly a one-man project, and this is clearly a person that's like not a studied drummer. Like they don't have the technique, and the way that it's recorded, it's obvious. And also it doesn't sound like it's recorded to a click to me. It sounds like the drums are just played and then the guitars are played over it. Maybe that's not the case, but I haven't actually put it on a grid to see if it's on a click or not. But it, like, you get the feel that the tempo can push and pull a little bit, which is really, really refreshing for a lot of metal. So much metal these days is just on the grid, and it's like, it's really refreshing to hear something that's not. But the energy that is emoted on the drums is so intense. Like you can hear the volume that's being played because of the way it's recorded, and it's like, and also like how hard the drums are being hit, which is, it's really nice for a black metal project. And the guitar riffs are like there's a surprising amount of tritones. Like a lot of black metal, kind of defaults to kind of these minor chords or power chords. And there's just like a lot of tritones, which make it even more unsettling. Like riffs it's like the tritone is the power chord for this album. There's also like in terms of riff writing, it's pretty interesting. Like the guitars kind of go up high a lot and really explore the range of the guitar. So it's, but it's all very aggressive. Like even the way the guitar is played and recorded, like you can really hear like sort of the sort of franticness in the picking, kind of like Okuralim, where it's like you can tell, like you get the intensity, even though there's literally no dynamics. Like it's a steady volume throughout a track, but you can sort of hear the intensity, what's going on. So it's, but yeah, it's like if you're looking for just something nightmarish and super intense, this is the one for you.
You see the picture of this? The gentleman the artist picture of it?
Yeah.
Super.
The black and white photo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, it looks like he lives what he preaches,
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay,
All right, man.
so the self-titled album is what you're recommending, Bob. I see.
I'm recommending that one in particular, mostly because I like the way it's produced. It's like so much more raw than some of the other albums, and it's like a little bit more polished than the demo that comes before it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, written, performed, and recorded by, and then there's mixed and mastered by. So that's interesting.
yeah, Manuel Garcia.
Yeah. So you were talking specifically about the sound of the drums. Just from your perspective, having listened to as many metal records and playing drums and recording drums as much as you have, what do you hear specifically in this music on the recording drums? Like, you know.
So, I mean, this is as far as like drum set playing, you've basically just got a lot of death metal staples here. It's like just blast beats and like a lot, there's not a lot of, there's not too much like double bass work or anything. It's like you're very black metal playing, like the kind of playing that just where you have right, left. So right hand on the cymbal, left hand on the snare drum, and it's just like like
Okay.
like that.
With like
a lot of beats like that.
like with the right foot with the right hand, kind of
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so but you like you can kind of tell the cymbals even cheap too, just because of the way it pings. Like it's not someone who's like got like a really super fancy $500 Istanbul cymbal. Like
Yeah.
it might be a Sabian and
E8, baby.
and like it almost doesn't sound to me like these drums are even close mic'd. But they might be. I'm not sure about that.
That was the other question I had. I only asked because generally, in order to pull off any type of metal drumming, like you have to have, in my opinion, you have to have a fair amount of technical proficiency, but maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong about that, because it just seems like it takes a lot of stamina and like, coordination. Like you've had to have shedded one.
Yes, it's true, but it's like, so I'm only noticing these things because I'm a drummer and I'm listening for them, but I think like most people maybe wouldn't notice this stuff. And I think the more important thing is that like, despite this like lack of technique that I'm hearing, like the emotion and like the feel of the drumming is so powerful. Like it's almost better that the technique isn't there because it might hinder like this kind of the rawness of it, in my opinion. Like in this case, like it's really it's got so much aggression, so much power, just the way it is. Like I wouldn't tell this drummer to like start practicing paradiddles, It's like
I mean, you might have like a contact here on the page. You might be able to contact him. I don't know.
Like,
can look it up.
Hey man, start practicing paradiddles. No, I
yeah.
And also like I want like the drumming. I like drumming. I like the thing is about like musicianship and like people that play instruments. There's so many musicians that I know that are untrained that are like amazing musicians that wouldn't have learned how to do what they do had they been through like a school system and this type of thing. So it's like I'm not knocking anyone for not having proper technique or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just identifying it as a quirk or an idiosyncrasy about this album.
Yeah. No, and I mean I'm just fascinated by your thoughts on it. I love both sides, of course. And I mean, this is interesting that this comes up yet again, because we talked about this with Brian Potts and,
yet again.
No technique. He's got no technique.
No, it's not that. But,
Brian Potts
we were
completely
wading
uneducated.
in the waters there, man. Because he had done so much school, and we were talking about like the advantages and disadvantages, and Bob ended up bringing up the point about the rigor of compositional programs as it came through like the Western European tradition and as it stands now. And it, honestly, that conversation gave me a lot to think about, and I appreciate it. I'm glad I'm a part of all this. So it's cool.
Yeah. Right on.
Dig.
I like that the way you described it, that likely, the band is still following the drums as they are. It's not like the rest of them are hoping to be playing to a click. Like they're
right, yeah.
accepting what is there as the rhythm driver.
And I say that I honestly like this type of thing, like it could have been recorded to a click. I honestly don't know. It's like, but it pushes and pulls a little bit. So it's like it's got the breath of life in it.
Right.
Let's say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, take us to the next one.
Is that me?
My homie. Yeah, that's you.
Yep.
Let's do some friends here. Let's do Family Fun Time by Schimscheimer Family Trio. These are all here. I'm going to put this up in the chat for everybody. These are all close friends and, some of my favorite improvisers. I also love the record Broken Home. So yes, let me speak about this. This is Casey Knudsen on alto and electronics, alto sax, Michael Coleman on piano, whirly, and John Arkin on drums. So
Johnny.
Yeah, so these are people that we have all worked with in various forms, and I consider Casey a pretty close friend. Like she just watched Rhea, my dog, while we were out of town, but she also happens to be one of my favorite living improvisers. Like, I am not at all exaggerating. She's such a phenomenal improviser. And
this is a hilarious album cover.
I know, man. They're all with it's because it's the family, right? They all get their ice cream cones and everything. But anyway.
Yeah.
So
okay.
They all contribute compositions, and all of their personalities come through, and it's coming from so many different worlds of modern jazz and creative music, and all of their own distinct little bits of mischief come out,
Wait, John Arkin writes some music for this group?
Yeah, as I understand, I've talked to Casey, and she said that they all contribute, so
fascinating.
It's really, really cool music. If any of y'all who are listening to us have not checked this out, I'm sure that a lot of you have, but
I've not checked this out.
Oh, really?
Although I see it.
Man.
No, but it's in my wish list, which means I must have.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it, folks.
Well, we know how many records are in your wish list, roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else can I say about this? They were
mastered by Aram Shelton.
The masterer, recorded and mixed by Mark Allen Piccolo. Recorded at New Improved. So all of this is like hometown hero stuff. If you're in Oakland, I mean, Aram has since left, and Michael now is working at Figure 8 Studios in Brooklyn and lives out there and is doing a lot of cool stuff out there. He was on a record that we recommended last time, I believe.
Has this band played live?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, would have loved to have seen that.
Well, let's hit him up.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, they, just having drums, keyboards, and alto, it's a very limited instrumentation, but they write super well for it. They do so much with it. and it gives them all an opportunity to work within that orchestration, and of course it gives them all a lot of opportunities to improvise and a lot of interplay within the band. It's really, really cool, modern post jazz, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, like the fact that there's like no bass player in this, like, doesn't even make me blink at all, because all these people are so inventive.
Exactly.
That, like, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I got to play with Michael mainly with Aaron Novick while he was still out here, and it was a lot of fun to just see him like weave through harmonies, and he just like, you know, he'd be smiling and working through something, but would do some brilliant shit that just blew my mind invariably, you know. And it's fun to hear him work within this context doing that same kind of thing, you know. A lot of the harmonic material like has like I already said mischievous, but there's this like levity. I don't know. I think specifically they're using like 7 chords that resolve as you think they would, but then they would pop up to another like 7, 5, 7, 1 type of resolution. They move through harmony in ways that you can both hear it and understand it if you've studied it, but at the same time, you're like, oh, I didn't think of that. That's really cool. You know, so it's like fresh sounding, but it's still completely accessible, and they're all completely badasses. And, you know, also on that, the forms, if you listen through to the compositions, it's the same thing, where it's like I could study each and one of these compositions and get something from it, because it's like fresh, but at the same time, it's clear. You know, they're all great communicators. So I love listening to that kind of music.
And listeners, great listeners.
Oh, hell yeah. So anyway, yeah, Schimscheimer family trio. I once asked Casey where that name came from, and she said, I won't tell you. So I can't go any deeper than that. Yeah.
I like playing. I'll never forget the first time that I played with John Arkin in Jordan Glenn's Beak.
Yeah.
When I was playing percussion, he was playing drums, and it was in a rehearsal for a show. And like, I remember like my role in that band, I got to kind of have the most freedom, honestly, probably in the band. But like, but I would be doing something and he would be on it like that. Like I would change or like play a pattern, and he would be like respond so quickly, and no one else would almost. It was like, I was like, oh man, this guy's paying attention to everybody.
Well, and then I remember when he played in DDB, and you were giving him notes on how to approach break beats and cymbal choices for something like a Connective Tissue or a song like that, you know?
Oh yeah.
Where he had like essentially pull off blast beats.
Yeah.
And so that was fun for me to observe. And then later on, like when he played that set with us at Hot Air with the snacks, and I feel like I barely had to say anything to him, even though he was just stepping in. I was just like, oh
man, I forgot about that. That's another.
That was easy.
I forgot about that set.
I know, and it was oh man, so good.
Yeah. Anyway, all the musicians in this band are
ridiculous,
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Pants.
Well,
did you know that you're still Pants Turnpipes in my phone?
Yeah, I'm still. I mean, that's. I have maintained Pants spelled PANTX and some other things, and I'm pretty sure Bob came up with it. I was playing trumpet some in the band the turnpipes,
the funk band.
Yeah. And my last name starts with PAN. Yeah, I have various nicknames that go off of PAN.
I feel like a lot of people call you Andy Pants.
Yeah.
So is this something that Bob you started? Do you take credit?
I'm not. No, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, maybe for Pants you can take credit.
You get a lot of nicknames. Like,
Yeah.
just as something about your personality acquires nicknames.
You deserve them.
You've earned them.
Yeah, and I think that is true. That I welcome nicknames for some reason. Yeah, I think for some reason I'm also recognizable. My wife certainly thinks so. That it's just like people that we both have met before, but when we like see them again, they only seem to recognize me. But yeah, Pants. Pants is going to recommend, inspired by the talk of Oakland and improvisation, and my cousin Sarah Jo Zahariko. She actually has recently left Oakland after several years living there. Unfortunately, needed to make the move to a more affordable place to live for her and her family. But I'm happy to have her closer to here. She's in Chicago now. But she and her husband, Eric Perney, have played in all sorts of bands. She plays violin and some mandolin as well. And he is an upright bass player. He's actually done some pretty cool studio gigs, has played with Tom Waits, but they have a group that is called Gojogo, one word, Gojogo. And there's a tabla player in the group as well. So it consists of Sarah Jo Zahariko, Eric Perney, Roger Riedbauer, and Elias Reitz. Hopefully I got all those pronunciations right. But yeah, just all great musicians. And they play a lot of different styles, and just good people all around. So something to check out. I know Asleep Under Waves better than the 28,000 Days.
There are some hometown heroes on here for sure. We got Aram Shelton. We have Stuart Bogey, who's out in New York, but a friend, and Will Sprott, who I know well, who is now, I think, with Shannon and the Clams. This is quite a lineup on this particular record, 28,000 Days. This is cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
It looks like that's pre-Illinois, perhaps.
I mean, well, this might have been when Aram was in Chicago, but when was this? No, this is all in Oakland. Yeah.
Yeah, 2011.
Yeah, but the other album looks like it maybe was more in Illinois.
No, it would have still been there. They just moved this year, basically.
Oh, okay.
Cool. I have never heard of this, and this is, this looks very close to home. That's awesome.
Yeah, I kind of thought when you started talking, like there may be common folks here, because they were around. They were there for a while. They trying to remember when she first moved out there, but
interesting. Yeah. Okay. So wait, how do you know this person?
it's my cousin. My Sarah Jo Zahariko is my cousin. Zahariko is my mother's maiden name. If you're from Indiana, there's a famous Zahariko's ice cream spot in Columbus, Indiana. It's been bought by some dude from New York, but who's not Zahariko. But at one point it was closer to my family, but now it gets a lot more press. So there you go. They have a nice player organ that was there originally, and then was bought by the owner. The now owner was interested in the organ, and it was moved to New York, and then they moved it back to Indiana. And
wow.
So, yeah. So are these like songs? Let's see here. She's playing violin and singing, and
No vocals.
Okay.
At least
So is this is mostly
memory.
instrumental music?
Yeah. But she was classically trained, and then she like heavily classically trained growing up, to the point where I think she got kind of burnt out on it, and she took a different direction. She moved out to California, did graduate studies at Mills on mandolin, and then she like was not loving the violin for several years, and then she got back into it after kind of coming to terms with things, and she was able to use it, and she started to improvise. She started to play jazz on her violin, and now, I mean, she teaches as well, but I think she plays violin way more than mandolin at this point. And
that's interesting.
Eric is like, yeah, he's just a great bass player. He's got a great sound. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, just like opening up the picture, the band photo, I recognize these people's faces, so I know that I've been in the same room at the same time, but maybe didn't necessarily get to know them or talk. And I'm also absolutely horrible with names, and it's like a deep insecurity of mine, and I believe that's already come up on this episode. But you know, so like it's people who I've seen a million times, and like I feel like I know them and appreciate them, and the name is the last to come. So anyway, yeah, I recognize these people for sure. I am excited to listen to this, and wonder if it's already come across my plate. So this is like 2011 and 2014. These records came out. That's it. That's cool. Are they
due for a new one?
Yeah.
By my watch.
Yep. By my reckoning.
Yeah, they're just fixing up their new place in Evanston, and they've got three cool kids, really cool kids.
A family band. Let's do it.
And actually, Sarah has
do
since
it.
got another graduate degree in library sciences, I believe. And
Cool.
Whoa.
so
Nice.
yeah, they're just great people. So
Oh, that's sweet. Right on. Well, into the wish list it goes.
Into the wish list it goes.
Gentlemen, I'm going to take a brief reprieve to use the restroom. I shall be right back.
Okay, yeah. I'll take a $5 myself.
cool. Yeah, I meant to get something to drink.
I'm drinking a Chinatown Undergrounds by Full Circle Brewing coffee stout.
I was gonna say it sounds like a coffee. You both
It's
have
really good.
You both have tall cans. I noticed today.
Yeah. I've recently been like, because I wasn't drinking at all during the pregnancy, in solidarity with my wife. So
Nice.
but I do really love beer. Like I just love it.
It's like the first cold day here, and it definitely this time of year I've been digging on the stouts and porters, and they're not. I mean, they're hard to find. Honestly, there's not a lot. Everything here is just like ales,
Light.
So
I feel like there's, particularly in Bakersfield, there's an obsession, or like there's a recent modern obsession with IPAs. There's like, if you go to a beer nerd store, there's like 10 walls of IPAs to choose from. And then there's like everything else in a corner.
Dude, I'm moving. That's all you have to say.
yeah, I mean, I'd say that that's a phenomenon. There's IPAs seem like the thing that everybody wants, but that's what I mean is it's like it's all IPAs and it's hard to find a good stout, porter.
Yeah,
Do you like sours?
I do.
I do, yeah.
I suppose I like, but man, porters and stouts especially can feel very like a full meal, you know, like the everything that you need, including the dessert. Like the Sam Smith oatmeal stout. I remember I used to get that all the time.
Those are
Oh,
good.
those are great, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are bomb. But I mean, I don't know. I've had to. I'm. Anyway. I am a fan of IPAs, but I feel like they're a little bit really strong. So you gotta
Yeah, they're typically high
check
alcohol.
yourself.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I basically have one beer is what I have. But sometimes, every once in a while, I'll have like 2 or 3. And if that's the case, like that cannot be above a certain ABV, or I will be definitely hurting the next day. So
Yeah.
it's just not even worth it. So
You've always had a very like highly active metabolism.
yes.
Yeah.
Wait, are you saying you? Bob?
No, I'm talking to Andy.
Yeah, I'm like, you know, you can't tell on this video, but I am a small person. I am about 5'5", and I weigh 111 pounds.
Oh dang.
So
Okay.
But your size aside, like you've always had like you can always eat a lot and
right,
and
yeah.
like
I mean, I can.
you metabolize it all.
Yeah, I burn through everything really, really quickly, no matter what it is. But I don't feel as like people are usually very surprised by my weight, but because I don't think I appear to be that lightweight. But I've also, just because of, you know, tolerance and not drinking as much, one beer is like, I'm good usually. So
Yeah.
or I'm like ready to fall asleep because I've got 2 kids now. So
Yeah. Well, really, everyone should be good after one beer.
yeah.
From a legal perspective.
Right.
Yeah, I'm learning about that. I've taken myself off the brews for the weekdays, so I can just go ape shit over the weekend. But no, I'm just kidding. No, it's just like to chill it out, mainly because IPAs are so strong that your tolerance goes up, and then it just leads to, like, if you want to get anything done, if you want to wake up and get shit done, you can't be having like 3 IPAs and then like want to spring up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm off the beers for the week, and it feels way different. It's nice. Feel less. My tummy ain't bloated. You know what I mean? That's a big.
Yeah.
That's another thing with it too. Anywho, that was Beer Corner.
Right.
All right. And we're back. Okay. I would like to recommend Mykki Blanco. And it's difficult to know what exactly of Mykki Blanco's to recommend. She's got like I don't know, 10 or more albums. Like 12. Or no, 14. The first Mykki Blanco song I heard was Wavy, which is presented as a single on Bandcamp. That's definitely such a banger, if and a great entry point to Mykki Blanco. So Mykki Blanco, so this is hip hop for sure, or like rap. Mykki Blanco she definitely like sings on, particularly on the newer stuff. But I think what's fascinating to me, so she's coming from, like, her story is kind of fascinating, and like her lifestyle, like of like being like, you know, she has like a very drug heavy queer lifestyle, and that's all in the music, you know, if you listen to it. And it's like, this is definitely on the darker side, like of hip hop, and it's like really like emotionally wrought a lot of times. As far as albums go, I might recommend, I'm a bit torn between the album titled Mykki and the album titled Mykki Blanco Presents Core or C-Or. I'm not sure. So like there's a lot of, both of those albums have quite a variety in terms of like production styles and like like if you check out the song, I think there's actually a music video for this song, so it's one of the singles from Mykki Blanco presents Core or C or I'm not sure. Coke White Starlight. So that song, in terms of song form and like what it does and how it builds, is kind of fascinating and like not something that you would expect from your average hip hop song. So it's really, there's like a rawness to what Mykki Blanco is doing, but the production value is quite high, honestly. There's different producers on all this stuff. And like, for example, I don't like the album Mykki. I don't know. I don't know if she produced it herself or like there's no credits. So I don't know anything about it, but there's like really a lot of different, like some of the songs are just sung. Some are like more like hip hop songs. Some are a little bit more wild and like have these like drastic, harsh changes in it. But Mykki Blanco is definitely like an icon of an artist for like a whole entire genre of queer rap, like along with artists like Leaf and Cakes to Killer and like Big Frida and stuff like that. So
interesting.
Definitely a person to familiarize yourself with. But yeah, like, let's see. I'm not sure what else to say. We went to go see Mykki play in what's that venue on downtown San Francisco? What's that music venue in San Francisco?
Wait, like on Diviz, like the Independent?
Yes, on Diviz.
Yeah, the Independent.
Yeah.
Right?
The Independent. Gosh. Thank you for reading my mind.
Man, I nailed it. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it was just like it was like a rap show where there was like a DJ sort of playing the tracks and Mykki was going for it. And it was just so like there's so much like emotion, and like if like you get into the lyrics, you can kind of like see she really hangs her story out like in the music for everyone to see. And it's really kind of crazy. And there would be like moments in the show where like there would be no track and she would just like rap a song. it would just be like really intense, very meaningful stuff. So
from looking through the different records on here on their page, it looks like it's highly aligned with like performance art and a lot of interdisciplinary arts, as well as just like, really self-aware pop and rap. It looks super fascinating. So I want to definitely dive in. I sent this to me, but I never dove in for sure.
Wavy is definitely maybe the single most people would recognize if they recognize any of these. I see it. Whoa. It's earlier stuff on here, but I might recommend the album Mykki.
Yeah.
As like to get a real taste.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that is I have that, and also Mykki Blanco presents C-Or. I'm gonna check both of those out. And then also this most recent one, I'm just curious what, where it's all, where the current aesthetic and everything is.
Yeah, for sure.
This one has a lot more information than any of the other records.
Yeah. All
right, cool. Wow. Super fascinating, just this page. I love this because like each one of these pages, when you look at all the artists, like there's so many different stories. Like, I I mean, this page is bonkers and about the artwork and just this person's story. But Gojogo, even on that, like just looking at the photographs and everything, that's part of why I love Bandcamp. It's all right there, like the entire artist, their output, everything that they want to show about themselves. It's really cool.
Yeah. A lot of people lament about the loss of like liner notes, but I think they're here on Bandcamp. Like
you can be as detailed and liner note oriented. Some of the records that I've downloaded come, you have the option of uploading all of your lyrics for the song. So if someone downloads your record, then they have essentially a lyric book,
Yeah. Like whatever you can add extras on Bandcamp. So sometimes when you get an album, it comes with there's been all kinds of there used to be, I don't think they let you do this anymore, but there used to be I downloaded some albums early in the day that would contain extras that were zip files with more music.
Oh, yeah, they probably put the kibosh on all that, right?
Yeah, I don't think you can upload zip files anymore, but
they're like, nah, you got
I think just zip files are it's like a sketchy. It's not a secure way to
right. There's a lot of things that can go wrong with that.
Yeah.
I would love to talk about just, I think this is something that Bob threw at me just the other day, and I'd love to talk about it. So he sent me a record called Alors, I believe, by, was it Michel Portrel, or was it the one before that? Le Univers Solitude.
I don't know which one.
Regardless, this is all coming from, oops, sorry. I just shot right back into Club Neuro. Stand by, everyone. I'm sorry about everything. Here I go. So yeah, I believe the one that you sent me was Alors by Michel Portal. And so digging in, it looks like this is all part of a label in France that's reissuing rare free jazz that was happening like late 60s and early 70s, or mid 60s and early 70s out in Paris. And the name of this label is... this is the most important part. Where is it?
Souffle Continu.
Yeah, Souffle Continu Records out of Paris. So SOUFFLE CONTINU. And every record that I've listened to on this has been super fascinating. So interesting elements of groove, free improvisation, orchestration, or instrumentation, I should say. They said, like in one of them in the liner notes, it said Afro-Cuban percussion, quote unquote. I think it was just a dude playing a pattern on an instrument. I don't think it had anything necessarily to do with the tradition, so to speak. But the music is cool and the records sound very good. It's like really fascinating recordings, and I don't know how much trouble we would get into if we start playing some things on these, but we'll have to at some point. We
can't. Yeah,
probably not, right?
Yeah, I mean, so the album that you are mentioning, they say, could this be the missing link between Eric Dolphy and Albert Ayler?
I mean, that's It is an interesting description of this, because it does have some elements of both of that. Like it's the orchestrated elements of that you might find with an Eric Dolphy thing, and sort of the freeness of an Albert Ayler thing combined. Yeah, I do find this to be just in terms of the heads and the playing. I feel like a lot of it. I think of the playing in Eric Dolphy's music as having a real hard edge to it. And Albert Ayler is just like this tumbling ball of energy. This stuff, there's something that you can really, like it, I don't know, there's an accessibility to it that I really enjoy. But there's also, there is a lot of just absolutely 100% going for it improvisation as well. And some of the other records on here are really cool, like some really cool like cello jazz cello free improvisation records, which I don't hear that much of with the technical proficiency of what I was listening to on that one. Let me see if I can figure out what record that was. Was it a Michel Rocue? No, I don't think so. Hang on. It's this other cat. Sorry.
There's a lot of stuff on here, man.
I know. Jean-Charles Capon. The cello, although considered a minority instrument in the history of jazz and improvisation. There's this guy, Jean-Charles Capon, and the record is called La Univers Solitude. So sorry for
L'Univers
speaking French right now, but this record is also super sick from my listenings to it. And yeah, I would definitely check out this record label, SOUFFLECONTINU Records. Highly recommended. They're reissuing a bunch of rare free jazz from France from the 60s and early 70s. Their description right there says treasures of the French underground since 2014. So that's just what I've heard that they've put out. Lord knows what else is on there, but I love these records already. And thanks again for the recommendation, Bob.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah, used to happen more from Bob. These CD stacks.
Yeah.
CDR stacks.
You have to join me on GChat, and I'll do it all day long.
Yeah.
Oh my God, are you in the chat?
I don't think Andy's in the chat.
No.
Well,
would you like to be on an insane, nonstop nonsense chat?
please say yes. Please say yes.
As long as we'll see how much I'll be able to participate, but sure, I will.
You don't have to participate.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just what email address should I add is the question.
Well, actually,
put that in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah. Not the one I sent you for the meeting today, but yeah.
Okay. We could take this offline.
Yeah. So, is it my turn? I think maybe.
Yeah. Give us
not
something
sure
to listen
what
to.
made me think of it in the previous discussion, but I wanted to share Kid Overdrive. It is someone I went to high school with, actually. His name is John Orr, and he also has music under The Last Domino, has done some pretty fun cover albums, and this Kid Overdrive thing could certainly be considered a type of cover where he really was inspired musically early on by Mega Man, and started learning a bunch of Mega Man music on saxophone. And when we were in high school, he was playing saxophone. We played in jazz band together, but he plays a variety of instruments now. And,
wait, hold on. Which Mega Man?
Gosh, maybe we can. I don't know. I'm seeing Mega Man 2, 3, and 4 on the latest one. I think it's just all Mega Man that he was really, really into. And he recently released some music on cassette, and it was packaged in NES cartridges. There was a limited run, and they were sold out immediately. Oh, wow. He was living in Austin for a while. He lives in Los Angeles, California now. So I recommend Kid Overdrive as well as The Last Domino.
Wait, can we talk about him releasing that on cartridge, the NES cartridge? Would you have to play that in a console?
No, it was just the packaging. So it was a cassette,
cassette
inside of an NES cartridge.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And he has also, he was doing hit record. I don't know exactly what hit record is, but Jordan, the actor, he's got Jordan Levitt. That's part of his name. Gordon. Oh, come on, internet here.
I know who you're talking.
He was in that sitcom. He was a kid in the sitcom. It was out of this something about he was kind of like an alien or something. Jordan. You can tell how
Jonah Gordon.
Pop culture.
What sitcom?
What?
What sitcom?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph. Okay. Thank you.
There we go. And the sitcom would have been Third Rock from the Sun was.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But he's done this hit record thing where he's supporting artists of all types, not just musicians, and giving them a platform and like a shared platform. And John got hooked up with him in some way, but yeah, I'm just actually really happy to recommend anything by John because he's an amazing musician and just a good guy. And the other, besides Kid Overdrive, which is all the NES stuff, he is the last domino. He did a whole album of Bjork cover songs. And
I love the cover for that one.
Yeah, he goes all out. He's an actor, so he's been in some amazing music videos as well.
Is there one of these albums you might recommend? Well, I guess these are all singles, huh?
Yeah.
On Bandcamp, it's all singles. There's only like one full album. I think.
Yep.
That
the
he's
cover
done.
to Tusks and Ribs is bonkers, by the way. I dig this. And that must be him in full regalia, right? He's like wearing a skull shirt with a elephant.
Yes.
Giant elephant mask.
Yeah. He's done some roles in horror movies and in some really disturbing music videos. I wish I could remember the name of this one band because I was digging the music too, but the music video was like I had trouble, like I couldn't stop thinking about. It was very disturbing. And
let's check IMDb.
He's a chicken man.
No, but what about his movies?
The movies, I don't know that I've seen any of them, but oh man.
Is it Muzzle by John?
I don't think so. Gosh.
Art concept and layout by John okay. So yeah, he's like a conceptual artist as well. So he's doing the concepts behind, these record covers, and I'm sure he's involved in some of the directing as these. But
I feel like I've seen this person before.
When elephants in the room dance with skeletons in the closet.
But Andy, you know this person?
Yeah. I went to high school with him. He's been in LA now for about 3 years, maybe. He also does these on his social media. He does these pajama jams, and he takes requests for cover songs, and then he records. He uses a loop. I don't know what exactly he's using to loop these days, but he records all the parts, and he's. I don't know how to describe it. When he's on stage, he's just a totally different personality than just talking to him, and he just really comes to life in an amazing, like almost trance-like way when he's performing, and when he's covering, it's like the same level of intensity that he's covering the artist. And again, really happy to recommend anything from John.
He's in a short called Lion King Free Healthcare as Scar.
Oh, he was most recently in the Realtor.com commercial where he is like a Nosferatu type character, and he's
Whoa.
He's got this look. He gets some interesting roles. He's a tall kind of lanky guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I could remember that video. It's so disturbing.
Man, there's been 2 instances of kind of glimpses behind the curtain of artists who I've perceived as like high energy, sort of bonkers, very intense artists. And it's not like they're very obscure or anything. I listened to an interview with Eric Andre where he was talking about meditating before performing and like his own ins and outs with securities about what it means to be a comic and everything. And then the other one was like seeing this meme where there's a dude who's like, hey, he has to travel around the world for a living. Everywhere he goes, he plays as many like toy grabber games as possible, and he donates every toy that he gets to charity, and it's the lead singer from Cannibal Corpse. You know what I mean? Like it reveals that at the end of the meme.
George
like,
Corpse Grinder?
Yeah, Corpse Grinder. Yeah,
we should get him on the pod. I would love to talk to him.
Okay, I'll okay, fine. I will, Bob. I will.
Get him.
But
can we talk for a minute about this thing that you mentioned, the hit record community? Like I've never heard about this, but it looks pretty amazing.
Wait, is this? Sorry, did you send a link up?
This is the actor
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it looks like it's just literally like promoting like a bunch of artists.
Oh wow.
So that's pretty cool. I've never heard of this, but I'm gonna have to check out some of this stuff.
That's cool. Yeah, let's. Oh, there he is. Of course. Wasn't he a Spider-Man once?
Haven't we all been a Spider-Man?
Anyway, yeah, let's definitely check this out. Broken. Okay. Huh. All right. So yeah, what we're seeing is it's just a feed of videos, and I guess they're all submissions from different artists, and I don't know if Joseph Gordon let it like filters them himself, or if it's just something that he's put up where people can just go for it.
I'm sure there's it looks like he's trying to foster a community.
Yeah, like he's curating it, right?
I don't know if it's curation necessarily, but I mean, there seems to be a lot going on here because there's like a TV show and like different stuff, and like maybe we should investigate and report back on our next episode.
Yeah, y'all stay posted. Voice acting. Okay, so there's different tags: music, voice acting, writing, photography, writing. There's a whole
lot going on here.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, yeah. Daily warm-ups. So there's like advice for creative exercises.
Yeah, here's like stuff for people to remix. I'm looking at. This is really kind of a wormhole, honestly.
Okay. Staff and curators at the bottom right there. There are careers. There's a store. There's a blog. So yeah, this is a big old thing. We're going to have to dive in and learn about it.
Yeah.
Get a few jobs here and figure out what it's all about.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. I've got something here to recommend. This was actually... so this is if you've heard of Awesome Tapes from Africa, I'm sure most people have. Gem after gem after gem on that label and website. Some of the stuff makes it to Bandcamp, but not all of this stuff makes it to Bandcamp. But anyway, a great label to check out. I'm not sure exactly, but it's like a guy that finds tapes from various countries in Africa and posts them and like basically helps boost the careers of the artists in Africa, making them world artists, world renowned artists, which is pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
This artist, I don't know how to pronounce it, but Ngana Diop, I think. The album is called Liital. It's pretty fascinating. So this is Senegalese, and it's interesting because what is said here, I think, doesn't describe it well. Senegal's tradition of tassau, poetic storytelling-oriented verbal art, had never been recorded until Ngana Diop's 1994 cassette, which solidified her fame across Dakar. Known for performing her aggressive brand of rap-like, almost sung poetry, that does describe it well, among upper echelons of society, Diop's sound became legendary until her death in 1997. So this music is like, it's interesting because it's not quite sung. It's mostly kind of like rapped, but they kind of hit pitches, but it's vague,
So, can you is there music going on behind it, like instruments or?
Yeah. So so that's another. So the background is, you have, it's interesting that this is Senegalese because the drums sound Nigerian to me. Now I don't really know. I don't know the difference. I don't know anything about Senegal at all. So, but I hear talking drums, a lot of them. It sounds like a Nigerian bata ensemble or a talking drum ensemble, but it also has these like really, really interesting synths that are just there as well. And they're providing basically the only harmonic context because you have sort of rap-like vocals and, vocals that aren't sung necessarily. And a lot of it's call and response. And so, like she'll say something, the chorus will repeat, she'll improvise. And then, and then there's like this piano, like the synth parts are like, and each song has its own kind of vibe. Like there's some other instruments too, but like it's so weird. Like some of it's like really ominous sounding, honestly.
So I mean, is there a common mode that the synths use, like something like in the Ethiopiques where like they're generally?
No, there isn't. Some of it's major. Like some of it will just be diatonic. I mean, I think it's all diatonic natural keys, honestly.
Okay.
Now that I think about it. So, which is to say Aeolian or Ionian keys. But I don't know. I need to listen to it again, honestly, to think about that.
Okay. Wow. All right, cool. And quick update, Andy just did send a link for one of the music videos, and we'll put that in the show notes for sure, for show.
Okay.
So this is really interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really one of a kind. Definitely one of the gems from Awesome Tapes, which is like a collection of gems.
So when you have when you have a collection like that, do you particularly follow any blogs or aggregates, or are you actually digging through each label or page like that and listening? I'm just curious, as you are an avid user of Bandcamp, and I'm wondering if you can impart any advice on how to dig through some of the more dense collections like this. Do you follow blogs, or do you just go for it?
I do. So so there's a number of ways to get to follow people on Bandcamp. I was actually following Awesome Tapes just as an aside, I was following Awesome Tapes long before they were on Bandcamp because and they post much more stuff on their website than they do on their Bandcamp site.
Okay.
For whatever reason. And because also I'm obsessed with Bata, and like they have, I forget how I learned about this, but they did have some Bata and some like various Nigerian drumming styles that like gongui. What's it called? I'm blanking on the term at the moment. But anyway, like I just, once I found that I could get some of that stuff from Awesome Tapes, I was like, I went through every single one because I was obsessed with that music.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything quite like it. There's a few albums that I want to actually maybe go over, but they're not on Bandcamp, but maybe we could do a separate episode about that.
Okay.
But sorry, to answer your actual question, I think you can follow people on Bandcamp that are fans, and you can follow labels and other artists. So
yeah,
a lot of the interesting stuff that I get that I like wouldn't expect to see is from following other fan accounts. So one in particular
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like I could follow your page as you, the collector, the fan, not as, oh, wow, dig. Okay.
Yeah. So like if you like a label, like, so you're like, I like Awesome Tapes from Africa, and you follow them, and you get notified about all their releases as they come out or whatever they send you. But then if you follow a fan, you follow whatever the fan is getting into. So there's a few people that I would recommend that are, that get, I follow a lot of like metal people, but there's a blog called Can This Even Be Called Music?
Oh yeah.
I've mentioned it a couple times, but honestly, like many, like for sure, like I think, so Reflection for sure. Like the first album that I was talking about.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, not Reflection. What was it? Oh no, Zadarpadov, right? Mm-hmm. Club Neuro.
Did that come up on there?
I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check, because that's how I discovered it.
Oh really? Oh yeah, because I often wonder. I'm like, I know you have a job and like a family, but it seems to me like all you do is comb through Bandcamp.
I know. It is obsessive. I do it more than I should.
No, never stop. Keep going. I'm researching grants right now for your research, so like, we're gonna get this funded for you, bud.
Good. I have an obsession with finding, really interesting, like rare music, which is why these episodes get so fun for me, honestly.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And I mean, I've talked to this about you. Here, I've talked about this to you where, I mean, you have sent me records. Like I talked about this with the Otis too, where I'm more like, who were y'all talking about? Rajan? Earlier?
Yep.
Rajan, yeah.
Rajan.
Like I'll find something that speaks to me, and I will cling on to that and learn everything that I can about it, and it becomes hard for me to take on a whole lot of new music, not new music like being brand new releases or anything like that, but new in external influences from that, because I feel like I just need to take that all in. But this is a really cool exercise for me in listening to more and taking it on. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with my own personal practices with writing and just being a musician as well. I think that's all part of it somehow. I haven't really got too deep with it, but I think that collections like this, what you're talking about right now, Bob, and then the record label that I was talking about, the Souffle Continue out of Paris, where you're seeing things that aren't necessarily contemporary, but it's like collections of creative music or music that is so far outside of like what's immediately considered like the thing that everyone needs to be checking out right now. That's really valuable for me because I can take that in and take it on and not feel like I have to deal with everybody else's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to get to the root of this, but I feel like that's a part of it. You know?
What do you? I don't know what you mean by everyone else's bullshit, but
the popular like, have you checked this out? This is the hippest thing in the world. Like,
what's the next best thing?
Yeah, and I have a hard time. I spent a long time playing that game, like all the bootlegs in high school, like all the best players and everything. So this is,
Yeah. Okay. I do know what you're talking about, but that's the thing is about that is that like if you think, okay, I mean, there's a lot of subcultures that have this sort of like this, like for example, like jazz or metal, like
yeah.
There's like, oh, like if you haven't listened to Mayhem's albums, then like you don't really know black metal, or like you don't listen to these Miles Davis live recordings, then you don't know what you're talking about. Like,
well, yeah, like, and I've been guilty of that on all ends. Like, what, you don't know Plug Nickel?
Yeah,
blah blah blah. Like
There's so much to the world. Like you don't have to hold yourself to the standards that are created by these subcultures.
I know. Well, okay, I know, but we're all on our own journey, and part of mine has been trying to figure out how to maintain creative focus when there is like such a massive hurricane of creativity all around you at all times. And that's why Bandcamp is amazing and can be overwhelming. So I have to like quickly, or not quickly, but carefully choose what I'm going to take on. As but so this is really interesting. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to ask you specifically, like, how are you combing through and what is your mindset, And at the same time, you're pretty good about maintaining a practice of keeping your output semi-consistent, at least from my me looking in. So,
yeah, I spend too much time on Bandcamp is the answer to your question. I wouldn't recommend that other people spend as much time as I do.
Do you?
Unless you...
I have a follow-up question for you, Bob, because having lived with you in the past, I know that you also spend a lot of time on the output and consider you to be a very prolific composer and recorder. Do you, and I think I've heard you say before that your passion for composition involves trying to write something that you haven't been able to find in someone else's music and like creating something that you want to hear, you wish you could hear. Do you feel like the time spent on Bandcamp is in some way a way to like find music that satisfies you to the level that your own does?
Well, what Bandcamp, the thing that I'm really looking for is that moment where it's like, it's like a lot of the albums that we talk about on these Bandcamp recommendation episodes. It's like something that like is so much of an idea that you wouldn't put together by yourself. You wouldn't think of it. So it like really takes you outside of your expectations in a very surprising and pleasant way. Like I think think that's what I'm looking for. And it's like a high it's like a little high that you get. It's like, where it's like you're so fascinated with something that's like so interesting and new and a fresh idea, you know?
So instead of feeling overwhelmed by the amount of possibly amazing music that there is, because there is so much amazing music throughout the world and throughout all the ages, you're just happy to find things that you hadn't really thought of before, and you're for the new experience of it.
Yeah, I mean, with regards to that, I mean, like you said, I mean, there's like, it's interesting because, like, if you think about, we were talking about earlier, like the wormholes that Rajan goes down, like there is, in essence, no greater merit to these little gems that I find than like these rare Grateful Dead albums that Rajan listens to. It's like they have the same sort of like intrinsic value, and what you get out of them is like, you get out of them kind of what you put into them, like your listening time, your thoughtfulness, your willingness to like open your mind to these ideas, whatever they are. I mean, obviously there's some things are better than others, but there is an unlimited amount of high quality material from all time.
Yeah, but okay. So we were talking earlier about driving around and committing to a record via driving, which to me is a very special and beautiful way that I've deeply connected with music and gotten to know records through and through. So again, you have limited time. What does your listening time look like? It's almost that alone has to be a practice, right?
Yeah. Well, I am always listening to stuff. Like if I go for a run, I'm listening. Going to the store, I'm listening. If I'm like making a Jira ticket, I'm listening. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm feeding my baby, I'm listening.
My baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, yeah, it's an intention. I mean, I personally listen to a lot of podcasts, and they all serve their own different purposes, but I listen to a lot of records as well, and I like listening to the radio as well, you know? There's certain stations that are fun to listen to, and there's still stuff that I'm discovering on good old-fashioned radio, which is nice too.
You know what? I never liked listening to the radio, and I think why I never liked listening to it is for advertisements.
I tend to listen to like college, you know, like the college listener supported stuff where there's not as much of that. But
yeah.
Right on.
Oh. We owe each other. We said it at the exact same time. I believe that's a jinx. You can go back and check the audio.
Well, that's only from your perspective, right? We're in like 3 different places.
No, I believe we said it at the exact same time.
Sound only travels at. Okay, let's do one more and then wrap it up, shall we?
Okay, final round.
Yeah, I hear that.
Well, okay, yeah, okay, go ahead.
So who's up?
I think I just went. So go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's you, Mark.
All right. What do I got? I'm sorry. I've just put myself through a little bit of therapy with y'all, and I appreciate it. So hang on. I have I don't know. I got to dig through. This is the best part. Everyone loves this part.
Oh, Mark.
What?
Andy, you got one on ready to go?
Yeah, man. You got one?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, I have one that I thought about before. It's not really inspired by any of our conversation. But I've been digging for some time Billy Strings, bluegrass guitarist. He actually, he has an album coming out called Renewal that I will recommend based on the first couple of tracks that have been released. But his previous album, Home, won a Grammy, and it's
really?
been in the past couple of years that he has kind of taken on the bluegrass world by storm. But I was lucky to get to see him at a smaller bluegrass festival. It's the John Hartford Memorial Festival in Indiana. It's actually at the same campgrounds / music venue that they have the more straight ahead bluegrass Bill Monroe Bluegrass Festival every year. And in fact, the Bill Monroe Festival is just a couple weeks after the John Hartford Festival. But Bill Monroe is like straight ahead bluegrass. John Hartford Festival is John Hartford. He played with Bill Monroe, and he played with a bunch of the straight ahead bluegrass artists, but he also hung out with the Grateful Dead. And so the Hartford Fest is a little bit more jammy and hippie. It's more of a hippie vibe for sure, but also a family vibe. And Billy Strings played there. It had to have been like 2013 or 2014, and he was like 23 years old. And I saw him and I was like, whoa, this kid is just phenomenal. And he's also, the cool thing about this festival is that, and other festivals are this way, but all the musicians stay up all night and they jam all over the campgrounds, and you can go just like hang out with them.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I got to just like have a night, and I could just tell that he was one of these kind of Bob Ledoux type personalities that was just gonna like play. I'm gonna play with as many people as I can possibly play with. And just as I got to know him more and more, I found out his background, and certainly bluegrass inspired, but also really into metal. And over the years, he's like he's now kind of covered in tattoos, and he works on cars. He fishes. He's like sponsored as a fisherman now, like because he just kind of on his own Instagram stuff was sharing, his fishing stuff, and because he has this music name, I think they were sending him stuff, and then he started using the gear. But he's just kind of this all around. He just recorded with I have it pulled up here, so give me a second. He did with Del McCoury. He did.
Oh man, I love Del McCoury so much.
Yeah, he played Midnight on the Stormy Deep, and he played mandolin just because Del was going to play guitar. So, and he's kind of like he's been playing
just him and Del. Yeah,
just him and Del, and he's been playing some banjo too, and everything he picks up, you can tell that it's just kind of there. But yeah, the new album is called Renewal, and the whole band is incredible. It's typically there's the four guys, so he's got banjo, mandolin, and bass, but he also usually has a fiddle player here and there that he plays with. Has been collaborating with people more recently. He did a track with Fences. I've been into a lot of bluegrass lately, but I wouldn't just call what he's doing bluegrass, because he just, you can tell that he has experienced so much other music, and it comes off in his playing. And he's not afraid to go there, but then he can hang with Del McCoury and everybody kind of, all those people want to play with him too. And I also wanted to note about him is, and it's been sort of the theme for the people the recommendations that I brought to this conversation is during the pandemic, he recorded Renewal, which is the one that's about to come out. But he also was one of the first artists that really started to do the streaming shows, where he was in a venue, an empty venue, and he was getting it streamed out. And then he did the drive-in gigs, and he kind of got going on the live thing as early as anybody I've seen. And he plays probably over 300 days a year. He gigs. He's just constantly on the road, and it just seems effortless. Like because he just wants to play constantly. And it's been a few years that I've been listening to him, and I want to make sure that, given the forum, that people hear about Billy Strings. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
man.
I definitely want to. I've never heard of that person, but I'm sold.
Yeah.
He's on Rounder Records, which, if you don't know, is like a pretty classic bluegrass label.
Yeah, and his father, he's inspired. He played a lot with his father growing up, but yeah, I was going to mention this guitar. I think it was actually his grandfather's guitar that he made in prison, that he recently like got his hands on, and he had it refurbished, and he's been playing it on the road, and just an all around kind of well-rounded guy with a lot of like depth there, and just amazing to listen to, and fun to listen to as well. His music is really fun.
Man, that's awesome. I don't know if that's something that would have crossed my path at all. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Man, that's very cool. Definitely. So wait, who was the gentleman that y'all were talking about? I mean, Bob, you said you were a big fan of
Del McCoury.
Yeah, who is that?
Del McCoury is... So there's the Del McCoury band, which is like Del McCoury himself, his two, or at least two of his sons, I'm not sure, and like three or four other people. And they play, I've seen them play once before, in a very traditional bluegrass style of crowd around the mic. So there's one mic. When you go see them play, there's one microphone and like five dudes, and they're wearing suits. And it's like upright bass, guitar, banjo, mandolin, violin. Mm-hmm. That's the ensemble. Yeah. And like, Del McCoury's the acoustic guitar player and lead singer. He's also the most elderly gentleman in the group. Mm-hmm. Also very traditional. So it's like, and what they're doing is like, it's straight ahead bluegrass. It's like, if someone is curious about what bluegrass is, I would default to Del McCoury, honestly.
Yeah, for somebody who's living. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because I definitely grew up listening to like Doc Watson and Ralph Stanley, and I feel like there's a lot of
those are
the same vibe.
Those are icons as well.
Okay, but you're saying that Del McCoury is like a living icon, and I'm surprised that you know those people and not Del McCoury. I guess I am too, but interesting. That's why I wanted to check in. I was like, wait a minute. I bet you that my mom knows Del McCoury really well.
Are you a Tony Rice person as well? Do you know Tony Rice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I also know like kind of the guitarists who came out of that, but were sort of like Tommy Emmanuel. Like, I don't know if y'all check him out. Like that dude.
I don't know who that is.
Play his ass off. He's such an amazing guitarist, and I feel like he came out of. I could be wrong, but I feel like he came out of the Chet Atkins tradition. And I know that Chet Atkins inspired so many virtuosic guitarists. So I just wanted to make sure that I touched on that because I didn't know that name, and I could tell that was probably an important thing, important little gap for me to fill in there. So thank you.
Yeah, the band is great, and Del is great. His voice is amazing.
Okay.
I got to see them play I think actually one year they played at Hartford Fest, but I also saw them open for Bela Fleck and Abigail Washburn.
Okay.
And
Right on.
and actually, I talked to Bob about this and kind of in preparation too. Bela Fleck has a new bluegrass album, like he's kind of gone back,
yeah.
and that has Billy Strings is on there, and a bunch. I mean, he's just kind of stacked players, and he's on tour right now. And it's not on Bandcamp, but
Yeah.
but definitely been digging that album too. So
Has Grant Gordy crossed your path at all? You know that guitarist?
I don't hear that or don't know that name. Yeah.
Okay. He someone who was playing in Denver, and then I know that he was playing with Dave Grisman for a while, and he lives in New York now, and he's a beast of a guitarist, incredible guitarist. But anyway, so my last recommendation. I'm sorry for the hems and the haws and the ums and the ums that Bob has already edited out, so no one gets to hear that.
But it's my turn.
Oh, but Bob, I had to.
Mark got skipped.
I don't want to. Okay, did I get skipped? Well, cool. That leaves me
Wait, did
something
you
for next time.
No, you did. Didn't you do?
No, I skipped myself because I couldn't find anything immediately.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I forgot. Yeah, go ahead.
It's all right. We're both wearing blue shirts, so I can see why you got confused. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
No, just real quick. I love this record, and I know, big shout out to Ben Goldberg. He's in the Bay. He's a beautiful composer and improviser and clarinetist, but he has this very cool record that I don't know if as many folks have checked out. Music for an Avant-Garde massage parlor. It's with him with Kenny Wollesen, just duo. And Kenny Wollesen is an incredible percussionist, music inventor, vibraphonist. So there's the link for y'all. So yes, I love this record. I love the feel of it, the sound of it. It's not traditional in any sense of where either of these people have come from a lot in the past, necessarily with tunes, forms, harmony, or anything like that. It's a lot more experimental, and I think a lot of that has to do. I had a chance to talk to Ben briefly about it. I was very excited about it, and I saw him, and he said, I've been playing with Kenny since he was 15, and he's always been that good. And, he invented half those instruments that are on the record. And he just got he got super serious with me for a minute. And I was like, okay. I mean, it kind of feels that way, So it's Ben on the clarinets, Kenny Wollesen on vibraphone, slide vibe, which let me just describe as Ben described to me as well as I can. Essentially, I feel like Kenny Wollesen hung up a bunch of vibraphone bars, which are metal bars, which are tuned. And this is just my imagining of what Ben was saying. But he had a pedal which dipped them down into water. So he was saying he was playing these bars and they would dip down into water. And so you have this combination of the pure resonance of the metallophone bar, right? There's no motor going on. It's not a vibraphone bar. And then it's going down into water. And so you have the combination of that with if you're tipping a glass, a wine glass while you're rubbing your finger around the rim, So he was trying to describe that to me, and I was just staring blankly at him. I felt I felt very strange in the moment trying to imagine that. Well, someone who I've admired for so long in my life was describing it to me at the same time. But needless to say, so Kenny Wollesen is credited with vibraphone, slide vibe, diddly bow, bells, drum machines, and animal gadgetry, sleep grinder, etc. So it's a fascinating duo record, recorded by Michael Coleman. Here we go again, second shot on this record. And this is one that I have intended to talk about for the past couple of episodes, but hasn't come up yet. So I just wanted to throw it out there for those who have not yet heard. It's a fascinating and beautiful creative music record between two master creative musicians.
Wow. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Bobby, you can close it up.
Okay. So Hanya Rani, she's getting more popular now. You may have heard of her maybe now, but her first album is the one that I will recommend. It's called Esha or Esja. I'm gonna assume Esha. She's Nordic. Forget which country. Polish. Berlin. Polish or Berlin? I can't tell. She's Northern European, let's say. This album is mostly solo piano. She's got the sheet music for sale on Bandcamp. This is really very simple, subtle, it's simple, beautiful solo piano music. There's really nothing complicated about it. It's got a very simple form. Most of the songs have kind of like an A B bridge. B, like it's very your expectations are easily met on the album. Most of it's diatonic. There's a few other kind of key things happening, but there's not a lot of fancy harmonic stuff going on. So it's just very simple, very beautiful. It's very dynamic. It's pretty raw. It's just piano, so there's not a lot of like other things happening. There's not a lot of orchestration or anything. But man, there's so much written in the notes on this, and I haven't read any of it.
Can I just say one thing real quick? I'm just looking through the pictures of the music book, the sheet music book. And so I'm used to like, you get editions of scores that are nice, but it looks like she's done an extremely creative thing with her sheet music. If you're going to sell your sheet music, it looks like she's made an actual book with it where there's art, there's photographs, there's the actual scores, but there's like, it's a whole thing. It's not just a piano book that you put on your piano, but it's a full package, unlike the likes I've seen before, where there's like photographs, liner notes, essentially. It's really fascinating. And
yeah, I want to get that. And
that's beautiful.
Yeah, I was just looking at the same thing, and there's this quote: "I dearly hope that this book brings you joy, along some inspiration and motivation to pursue your own creative ventures or to make music together with others. On purpose, I have not included many dynamic and articulation marks, as I wanted to leave you more freedom to shape your own personal interpretations of these pieces. I know that I am leaving my music in good hands."
That's pretty. That's beautiful.
This is a nice recommendation there, Bobby.
Yeah. Bobito.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely going to check that out. That's very cool that the actual score is, because oftentimes the presentation of the CD or the record is like where all of the art is, but this is the first time I've seen a book of scores where it's like a coffee, well, not to say that a coffee table book, but something that's like beautiful that you would leave out for cats to look at. You know what I mean? Not to diminish it by saying that.
I wouldn't denigrate the idea of a coffee table book.
Okay.
Because it is something you want to display prominently in your home.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like Magoo, Andrew Maguire gave me the Sam Prekop photographs book, and I was like, man, not only did a friend give me that, but like I love Sam Prekop's music, and this is a book of his photographs. It's very cool. You know what I mean? I love that kind of thing where it's like crossover. Yeah. And this is a very fascinating case of that.
Yeah. Yeah, check it out. I really want to get the vinyl of this because it's chill. This music is chill. I don't know if I said that, but this music is hella chill.
Yeah. Is it good for feeding babies?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I put on all kinds of stuff when I'm feeding babies, but it's good for chilling.
Music for feeding babies. That's interesting. So, I mean, I love that you run we have the Blattaria, we have Reflections, we have this. So you know.
You got to switch it up.
You got to switch it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, right on, y'all.
Yeah.
I think we can say that we have recommended some good musics for people to check out. Andy, thank you so much for joining us, and it's great to chat with you. And
yeah, thanks for having me.
And it's great to have your perspective and your recommendations. I definitely got a lot of stuff on my wish list that I'm stoked to check out.
Yeah. My bloated wish list is now extra bloated.
And mine is, just beginning. It sounds like if I'm going to be on this G-Chat situation.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, this...
Yeah.
the G-Chat has less to do with Bandcamp, but you'll see.
We'll talk about this in a minute.
It's more of like a life coaching, motivational. You'll see.
Some meditation.
Okay.
Guided meditation.
Yeah.
Backflip lessons. It's important.
Good.
Yeah. So thank you, Andy, for coming on.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
And everyone, if you want to support artists doing what they're trying to do the most, we love Bandcamp, and we've all felt the love through it. So keep pushing it on. And I think Bandcamp Friday is on the 1st. Did we confirm that? October 1st?
I think we actually didn't confirm that, but whatever. It is when it is.
It is what it is. It's Bandcamp Friday. You deal with it.
Follow us on Instagram at FT4HB and follow us on Twitter at tones_4. If you want to support the podcast, you can subscribe to us. You can find us on Patreon at Fantastic Tones for Human Bones. All right. That's it.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
FT